Fabian, congratulations. 2 games, 2 wins. Talk us through your emotions, scoring a stoppage time winner like that against Manchester United in your first home Premier League game.
Yeah, so like winners in the last minute are always emotional, especially when you get the win afterwards. I was very emotional, of course, but I also know, and that's also part of the truth, that we also could lose this match because we didn't control the game like consistent. We lost sometimes the control of the game, and that's what I didn't like. But in the end, the most important for me is like the attitude from the players. They really never give up. That they always have like the belief in their strength, the belief in each other, and that was very important. And on top, I always talk about like togetherness, and for me the whole squad is important. And then the impact from the player who get in the game with Simon, with Yassin, Carlos, Jorginho Ruta, and also Julio, that was amazing, and that bring us in the end to win.
Danny Welbeck got you off to a good start in the game as well, scoring his 100th club career goal. Wow. How important is he, not just on the pitch, but in the dressing room as well?
A leader and a role model. And that's why he's not on the pitch, especially also beside the pitch, very important for me, because I have a lot of good talks with him. I can learn from his knowledge, because in the end he experienced a lot of things, and on top of that he's a great player, and I'm very happy for him because no one sees like his hard work and how good he prepares for every game and how he's there for every teammate, and that's why I'm very happy that he made this goal today.
João Pedro obviously got that amazing winner in stoppage time for you. He scored 20 goals last season, but you have so much variety in your attacking players. Does that just give you the ability to change things up and give you so many different options?
I think it gives us like every time in the game the chance to make the opponent like that they have to make decisions, because in the end if one player is tired or has not the best phase in the game, we can substitute in and we can bring another very good player in, and then the opponent they struggle because they have a new job, and that's the goal from this variety. And on top of that, it brings us a lot of competition also in training, so they have to be demanding to each other. They have to improve themselves, because otherwise they won't play, and that's very good for me as a coach, because competition improves the individual players, and if the individual player improves, the whole team has an impact out of it.
We've already seen in just 2 matches that you are an emotional manager on the sidelines. So tell us what your emotions were like when Manchester United's goal was ruled out.
Oh, I don't know what I think about the situation. I was a little bit like not happy about the phase in the game, because we struggled with controlling the game, and my thoughts were more like how we get back the structure we had before. And I think these were my thoughts. I not complain about the goals from the opponent so much, because you can't change them. You have to think in solutions, and you have to think in the future and think how can you help the team, and not complain about the goal too much.
Brighton haven't held back in terms of signings this summer. We're hearing Karioglu and O'Reilly should be completing their deals this weekend. Are you expecting any more incomings or outgoings before the window closes?
Let's see what happens. I think I won't talk about like players who are not signed yet and who are still players from us. I won't talk about them in the public. I think it's very important that every player knows their plans with him, and there we try to give them transparency, but it's not for the public.
Well done today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Not yet, but it has been an exciting window for Brighton already. It's an exciting time to be a Brighton fan, Rio.
Yeah, it must be. I think this place was bouncing. We were in amongst it today, and I think the fans are really enjoying themselves, sing songs, dancing after games and goals. So it's all rosy at the moment here, and I think they deserve it. I said we spoke to Bobby Zamora before the game about how sensible they've been prior to this season. Building the infrastructure at the football club, the data that's driven a lot of the signings and the decisions at the football club, and then they've gone out on a big spend this summer. So it's a different approach this summer to what we've been used to, but I think it's built on good foundations here and solid foundations. So there's a lot of really, again, people that are behind this that are very, very, they don't seem like risk takers or they're chancers.
They recorded a last year which is how they've gotten themselves into the position to now become a buying club, which they are, and paying meaty fees, aren't they, for some exciting players?
Yeah, and they're creating milestones along the way in terms of young players getting minutes. They're one of the leading clubs in Europe in doing that, but also in terms of bringing players in for small fees and selling for big fees. There's certain models that they're evolving over the years, and again, this window is very different to what we've been used to seeing at Brighton.
When you've got a new manager coming in, a one that a lot of people didn't know too much about when he arrived, Joe, how important are those first 2 wins to show that his ideas are getting across really quickly?
Massive. Because one thing, you could be the most exciting young manager in the world, but if you don't win games of football, people will ask questions. Do you know what I mean? So what was interesting about his interview there with Jules was he was unhappy that he didn't control the game. Like, this is Brighton Football Club, with all due respect, playing against Manchester United. I mean, I don't know whether that shows where the perception of Manchester United is at the moment, but he's won 2 games already. He's not happy. We wanted to be more in control of the game. I think when the questions were asked about players coming in and coming out, you could be forgiven for a young manager maybe slipping up there, or saying something. But he towed the line. I won't talk about players going in. I won't talk about players going out. Transparency was something he said as well. He said players will know what the plan is for them. What you think? Everything about this club, you just go, yeah, that's good. That is good. Manager, players, David Weir, anyone about the recruitment, everything around. In fact, the lads are training now. We're watching them in the background. The lads who didn't play, it's spot on. And they should be very excited. The only thing I think of with this club, which I want to see more of, I want to see more ambition. I think they're sort of just, there's not enough.
Are they not showing that in this window?
No. They're starting to show it, but I think they're coming into their phase of development where they can puff their chest out. Their first term in Europe last year didn't go how they wanted to. They've gone and spent money, but it's a little bit of a swagger and arrogance that top clubs have, which this club haven't got yet, and that's understandable. I think that's the next stage, but everything they've done is up to now has been absolutely spot on and superb.
Absolutely. Well, let's make Rio feel a little bit better. 5 3:00 games underway. Manchester City 0, Ipswich 1.
Wow. Go on the tractor boys. Go on the tractor boys.
On the score sheet. A good signing for Ipswich, do you think, Sammy Smodic, if he can deliver what he did in the Championship in the Premier League?
Yeah, and I think that's what it's about. When a team comes up, you want them to transfer what they've seen in the Championship up into the Premier League, and it's difficult. It's like a new sport almost sometimes. So, but what I do know is that when you're playing against the top teams, as a team that come up, I used to be really kind of the first 6 or 7 games, I didn't want to play against a Premier team because that euphoria is still there, that buzz is still in the veins of those players and their fans, and it becomes very difficult. And obviously Man City are finding that now, and long may it continue.
We saw the news this week that they've brought Gundogan back as well. That's done, Joe. Do you think that's a great move for all concerned, or should you never go back?
Smart move by Pep. I think they've weakened Manchester City in this summer transfer window. We know the sanctions and things like that are over a cloud over the club at the moment. They don't know, but what you want as a manager, want a player, you come in, you know what you can do, and he's a top draw player, and it'll give everyone a lift. From Ipswich perspective,
A 95th minute winner for João Pedro and Brighton, who are flying at the start of the season. 2 wins from 2 under Fabian Hertzler. Danny Welbeck gave the Seagulls the lead. Man United, though, and you, Rio, thought they were getting themselves back into this game. Let's take a look at Ahmad's equaliser. It took a big deflection.
Yeah, it did, but I think it was a well-worked goal. I was off my seat running around the studio, as you well know. But, yeah, I think it was a good move. I think it was a really good ball out from Onana initially to this first phase of play to get over the press. Then they retained possession, nice and composed. But I'm really delighted for him. I'm really pleased for him. He's had a tough week, obviously, with his stepmother passing. But the way that he's applied himself today, he sees quite congested. Then one little bit, a nice little ball inside the wide man. And this is a signature Ahmad move here. If anyone who's seen and watched him play, being able to jerk the fullback to go out on the outside and come back inside, and then a composure then to smash it, and it hits a defender. But I think he deserved that. The way he's played today, he's playing himself into contention to play every week at the moment.
To be the first choice right winger, is it just about consistency for him now, Joel?
I think it's about consistency. He went out to loan Sunderland, and he got some games, scored some goals, and he got his confidence up. He's got a lot of ability. He did, but when he scored the goal, by the way, I thought he was on the way to be taken off. It was him or Rashford at the time, and I think the goal gave him a reprieve. But he needs to affect the game continuously and just keep improving.
I think his all-round game is very, very clean. I just think it's the end product bit now. There was a big chance underneath us here in the first half where he should have probably gone with his head. Them moments there can really define or make or break you being a regular in the first team. And Man United, they want end product. And he's just got to keep trying to produce that. Today he got his goal and long may it continue.
And you thought you'd gone in front, Rio. Me and Joe were worried about your blood pressure at this point. Got a natural thought Man United had gone 2-1 up as well, but it didn't count. Xerxes just couldn't keep out of the way, Joe.
I mean, it's this counter-attack, you know, and the game was open at this stage. It's a lovely ball here from Bruno. And this is the intelligence bit. Bruno, he's not got the pace, but he knows exactly where he's going to go. It's a lovely time ball. And we see it better from the other angle. Xerxes hits his knee. It's really unfortunate. But this is where he's just onside there. But if a striker, if Xerxes got a natural, he'll be gone already. He'll recognise Bruno's going to run in there, and he'll be 2 yards ahead. He'd slide that ball in himself. It'd be his goal, and he'd be the champion. And he gets himself. Listen, he can't do nothing about it. He's gone in to slide in. He can't get out of the way. He's trying to get out of the way. I felt for him when the goal celebrations were going on. He must have known. He must have known, and he's like, oh no. But.
I was devastated because I was running around this studio and the fans beneath me, the Brighton fans.
You went too early, Rio.
I went so early and then they hammered me after. But yeah, listen, it's unfortunate. And this is, again, these moments can change a game. The Man United had the momentum at that moment there. And the time it took for the decision to be made, and obviously disappointment then, I think then Brighton, that was the moment they kind of smelt a little bit of blood. Let's go and try and win this game.
So frustrating for Man United because it was such a good move, wasn't it? It's those fine margins, isn't it? Let's hear from the Man United boss now. Erik Ten Hag is with Jules.
Erik, is that the worst possible way to lose a game in stoppage time like that?
Sure, very disappointing. Especially when you, over long parts in the game, you have control. And yeah, we are controlling the game in possession, and we are doing so well. And yeah, we got 2 unnecessary goals, very avoidable.
Did it feel like they were quite soft goals to concede? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, that is our feeling. And we concede 2 soft goals where we should act better as a team.
What should the players have done in those situations then? What were you looking for?
So many things in that moment, and yeah, we have to talk, and we have to be aligned in such moments what to do, and that everyone knows the job, and as a team, and we protect our goal.
You said you liked parts of the performance. What were they?
I think there was very good parts in the game. We had a lot of control in possession. We created good chances. We showed resilience. We came back and then we scored a winning goal, although we thought it was the winning goal. And then it's so bad luck that the ball is on the line, just before the line. It's touched by Xerxes, so that's a pity. You have to take this. So it's a disappointment, but I can take a lot of positives from that performance.
You mentioned Xerxes there. He came on at half-time for Mason Mount. Was that an injury or a tactical decision?
It was a decision. He had some problems and he had an issue, and so we know the history of Mason, so therefore we took him out. But I think also Joshua is coming better in. We are losing the game, and I think he had a good impact in the game.
Does it feel like the biggest difference, particularly when you look at the first half between the 2 teams, that they started with an out-and-out number 9 and you didn't obviously bring in Joshua on at half-time?
But I don't think also before halftime we created our chances and we had our good chances. So the best chance before halftime that was from Ahmad and was after the cross of Diogo, and also after that Mason Mount had a very good chance. So I think we had before halftime we had 3-4 good opportunities, and from there 2 very good chances, and we should go winning at halftime.
We talked earlier on about the early season optimism after your first win of the season last weekend. How much of a dent can a result like this make on the team?
We have to take the positives, but also we have to learn, and you can't drop points. It's so unnecessary. If you protect the goal like we do, and then you drop points. And top football is about details, as I say. So we have to do better in such occasions.
Can't drop points like that, Erik ten Hag. What's costing Man United more then, do you think? Is it at the back or is it not taking those chances up front?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. I think, as I said, Ahmad had a great chance in the first half. And then that goal was disallowed because of, unfortunately, being on the lines from Xerxes. But when you create chances, you've got to punish teams at this level because there's quality on the opposition side as well. That if they get chances, they're going to punish you. But I think this game, was lost really through just a lack of concentration. You can't give that amount of space in your own penalty box to the opposition because, as like I say, there's quality on the opposition who are going to find that space and that spare man, and they will punish you.
Are you seeing enough improvements on last season, though? Seeing like a clear tactical plan developing in the 2 games?
Yeah, I am. I think there's definitely an improvement in the shape and the structure of the team. Man United don't look like an open team. I was sitting here last season at times with my hands in my head at moments, various moments in games where we were being sliced open at will, and teams who would just come into Old Trafford, even at away games, and you're just thinking they've had 22 shots. They've had 25 shots. That isn't the case in the first 2 games. There's more control. There's a bit of stability. Still room for improvement, obviously.
Yeah, still room. Danny Welbeck opened the scoring as well. His 2nd of the season against his former club. Goal 100 of his club career, Rio. A bad one, as you said earlier, for Man United to concede. But how impressive from a Brighton point of view? Yeah,
I will be telling him in the WhatsApp group later, I think, the Man United one that he's still in, that he shouldn't be scoring against Man United as much frequently as he does. But listen, them type of stats there, and you think, is it fate that it's just going to fall to him? But I think, again, it's work ethic, it's understanding where to be when the ball goes wide. We can talk about Maguire here, but I think it's a very good ball that comes in. Does put him under a bit of pressure, but I think he can go and deal with it. De Ligt dealt with a similar ball in the second half, actually. Went with his weaker foot, but just got it and put it away for a corner. Even then, when it's put across the front of the goal, who's got the instincts to be in there? Who's smelling where the ball might come? Danny Welbeck before anybody else.
Yeah. No, I thought he ran the line so well today. You know, it'd be interesting to speak to him because, look, Harry Maguire there, he knows. I think when you concede a goal and it's not clear what the mistake is, but you think maybe I could have done it, he'll be disappointed with himself there.
Is it tougher today for Harry Maguire because De Ligt has come into the club as a signing? He's sitting there on the bench waiting, and everyone's waiting to see just what this back four is going to look like going forward for the rest of the season. Yeah, but I actually thought Harry Maguire grew into the game and played very well. I think he was the best defender for Manchester United, or best centre-back definitely today, as the game grew on defensively, and I was a bit surprised when he got brought off, actually. And we were talking, I think, if he had been on the pitch, maybe he'd have been the one maybe leading and vocalising to people to get into positions on that second phase of from the set piece. Who knows? But it's it's when centre halves are being brought off in the game and it's not injury related. Sometimes it does, like, this didn't happen in our era. You know, it does baffle you a little bit. But at the end of the day, the manager's got to shuffle the pack. He's got a lot of players to make sure he keeps happy. De Ligt's in there. He looked comfortable when he came on, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't say that Harry Maguire had a bad game. I think he was very solid in most parts of that game. Would he be in your first choice back four for Man United?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's again, the second goal was crying out for his leadership, him being on the pitch. That's what he does. If the game was played where balls were coming into the box and you were dealing with it, Harry Maguire is elite, world class. That is what he's good at. You know, in that part of the game, Erik ten Hag, you would imagine, would have smelled the tide was going against Manchester United. We might have to deal with some set pieces. I've made 5 changes. I understand him wanting to get De Ligt up to speed, get him onto the pitch, but that almost becomes secondary then. You know, if you bring him on, leave Harry on there with him. Maybe go to a back 5. I know we might be sitting here going, he's been negative, but they might be taking a point home, you know. But I genuinely think, I know it's all, you know, we're all clever after the event, but I think Harry Maguire on the pitch when the second goal comes in, I think Manchester United are a tad more organised and then they deal with it.
João Pedro very much involved in that goal that Welbeck scored. When we look at the changes that Brighton were able to make as well in that second half, Adingra getting involved with the winner, Rio. Do you think this is the best group of attacking options that Brighton have ever had as a club? Yeah,
I don't think I remember them having the options that they have. And it's not like the standard drops when players come off the pitch. I think that's the important point. It's all right having the bodies, the amount of players, but it's also the quality that can come on the pitch. The standard doesn't drop. If anything, it stays the same or gets better. they're fresher, they're hungrier, and you saw the players that come on, they have an impact immediately. But I thought João Pedro, I thought today he was outstanding at times, gliding past players, a work ethic as well. And I mean, he had a good time at Watford, and Tom Cleverley, I remember speaking to him, he was a teammate of his, always spoke glowingly about him. And I was surprised only Brighton were the team that came in for him, because I think as a talent, I don't think there's really much questions of him. But doing it at this level consistently, now we're starting to show.
Yeah, Brighton's top scorer last season, and it looks like he's picked up where he left off. Is the hardest thing going to be for Holzer to work out how to fit them all in, Joe, and keep them all happy, which I guess is a good problem to have?
Keep them all happy is the key, but this is where I think the beauty of Brighton in terms of all these players are hungry, and Ciso, Bellegrade, all of them young, hungry, aggressive. So the lads who come on the pitch, we said before the game, we thought it's going to be tight, and we thought the game would be decided by the benches. Either way, both sides, you know, both had experience, athleticism and youth on the pitch at the end. But what they got to do, Brighton, is they got to just keep that, what they are, their identity, you know, young, they're hungry, you know, and that was the key. That turned it. Having these players to come on, United didn't have to, they're bringing on Anthony, in all due respect, who's gone past that stage where he's happy to play 10, 15 minutes. He's an £80 million player. You know, he probably wants out the door at Manchester United. They probably want him out. So you're bringing him on. So in a crucial moment when there's a ball that needs to be won, a body that needs to be put on the line to deal with it for your team and your club, he didn't do it. Cost his team. You know, and that's a difference. Whereas on the flip side of it, Minte, the running he went through, you know, that is the kind of workload you need at this club in the Premier League to win games. And then if you run your race after 60, 70 minutes, you're bringing on another young, world-class, hungry player in Ciso. They got a great balance. I actually got it. I think I may have got it wrong. I thought Brighton might struggle only because the amount of turnover of players is something that is unusual for them, and a new manager, a young manager, unproven. But all the signs seem to be that they'll just keep on getting better.
I think.
Sorry.
Well, what I'm hearing, the murmurs coming out of the club as well, is that, yeah, he's a young manager, but he's putting some heavy demands on these players physically. All mentally, obviously, and they've got a lot of information to take in, but physically, even today, they outrun Man United in terms of distance, in high-intensity numbers as well, were crazy off the charts. And before a ball's even played, their demands that are set as like the staple of this football club now, if you can't keep up with it, you won't play. And so you see the players, the hunger. Minter was a great example, but Billy Gilmore today, not renowned for running, run more than anyone else on the pitch. Like, it's phenomenal the demands that he's getting and what he's getting out of these players. And then obviously then it becomes about quality at the end of that. When you're overrunning teams and you're demanding like that, but then there's quality as well, that's a good recipe.
I read an interview with Jason Steele as well.